Are you at a point in your life where you're being urged to do something different by your inner voice? Do you feel a strong compulsion to do something different even though the urge seems crazy, especially to others? This inner voice, this niggle, it's calling you, isn't it? It's calling you because it's your calling. The feeling you're having prompts you to change the course of your life, to follow your path, to pursue a new objective or line of inquiry. But that voice, the call, threatens to cause an upheaval, doesn't it? But when you get the call, listen to the fucking call! These experiences are life-changing. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Mastermind Content Archetypes Explained series. I'm Richard Oldale and I'm on a mission to help you and others understand how your psyche works without all the spiritual fluff or the brain fog that scientific inquiry might bring up. I basically blend the two together and evaporate the fluffy fog, because this is my calling. And in this video I'm going to explain why this is my calling, because this is my personal story of the explorer archetype. Although when I first got my calling it probably surfaced as a sage, but at the same time I didn't realise that's actually what it was. Now if you've watched my earlier videos on the Sage series, you will remember that the first time I got the call was when I was in Amsterdam and felt my truth sweep over me as a calming energy. The energy of the explorer surfaced many years later, but as it turned out it was the next stage of my personal evolution. So the explorer is felt more as an inclination, often as a push or an urge. You mostly feel this energy when your inclination informs you that you need to do something different with your life because something's not quite right with your current circumstances. You may not be sure what it is, but you have this sense that something is coming through. It may not have fully formed into the conscious mind just yet, but it's still a bit unclear, still a bit fluffy, a bit foggy. But you sense something is coming, so it's intuitive in its essence. Although this sense is yet to be born into conscious awareness, you feel as though a change is needed. So I got my explorer in 2010, 2009, 2010, watching the Ancient Aliens series. Yeah, okay, I know. But although I found the subject matter of ancient technology fascinating, I found the alien angle was bullshit. Well, this program raised a question for me. How were ancient people so accomplished at architecture and as builders, astronomers and mathematicians? They were building settlements that aligned with the stars, for fuck's sake. So I don't believe that our ancient ancestors were as primitive as mainstream history wants us to believe. But some people want us to believe this knowledge is the work of aliens as well. Bullshit. Anyway, curiosity compelled me to search for the truth. This is the energy of the explorer. Curiosity is actually something that I call the explorer's superpower. So this archetype is a call for adventure, for exploration, for discovery. But more than that, the journey that you embark on is a quest for self-discovery. It is on this path that you find your purpose and meaning in life, or at least some purpose and meaning in your life at any given moment. It is on this adventure that you discover your true nature, because you come into touch with your higher self. So the journey of life consistently unravels higher states of conscious awareness. But to reach destination, you have to activate the explorer archetype and answer the call. So, listen to the fucking call. Anyway, back to my story. I had this overwhelming urge to go to South America to research ancient civilizations, or so I thought, but my higher conscious had other plans in mind for me. The journey was a voyage of self-discovery, and at that point in my life, I didn't believe in fate. I had no interest in spirituality or anything remotely woo, but a chain of events changed the course of my thinking and led me onto a different path. It basically opened my conscious awareness to the mysteries of the world. The first stepping stone that I noticed was when I was sitting in a restaurant in Puno in Peru. I was reading the last page of a book I had picked up in La Paz in Bolivia early in the journey, and the closing paragraph of this book mentioned that the author Diane Dunn had opened a spiritual retreat in Pisac. Now, as I mentioned, at this point in my life I had no interest in spirituality whatsoever, and ordinarily I would have ignored this paragraph, but I didn't. I had another sage-like feeling that I needed to go to Paziluz and meet this Diane Dunn. But Rich, aren't you supposed to be telling us about the explorer, not the sage? Be patient, my friend, I am. But the two are very closely linked. The explorer brings the inner knowing of the sage into a conscious awareness, and this is what we call wisdom. Wisdom is related to the sage, but the explorer has to bring you into contact with experiences and knowledge in order to convert knowledge to wisdom. We feel the sage, as I mentioned before. The explorer is more of a pull, and at this stage I had been pulled towards the book that Diane had written, but then I had a feeling I needed to contact her. Okay, that makes sense, right? Anyway, my decision to contact Diane was not on a whim. When I said the first sign I noticed was the moment in the restaurant in Peru, there had actually been a sprinkling of breadcrumbs leading me to the realization, and these breadcrumbs are what Carl Jung called meaningful coincidences, or synchronicity. Stepping stones to the truth, if you like. The first breadcrumb fell when I met a lady from England called Eve, and she was actually living in Santa Cruz in the southern part of Bolivia. And I got chatting with her and I told her about the book that I was working on, and she suggested that I visit the Isla del Sol, which is the mythical birthplace of the Inca. Now, my original route had not included the Isla del Sol, but because Lake Titicaca is on the way to Peru, I thought I would take a detour and visit the Isla del Sol. So I thought I'd go there, and on the boat across to the island I met another fellow Englishman. His name was Julian, and he was practicing shamanism in Peru. Now, he told me he was currently residing in Pisac at a spiritual retreat called Paziluz. Yes, the very same Paziluz that Diane Dunn established in Pisac. But I didn't know that at the time that I met Julian, because I'd not read the passage of that book yet. That passage of the book came later when I got to Puno after being in Isla del Sol. But there's one more thing about this story that you should know. As I read that last paragraph, the electricity in Puno went out, and I was left sitting in the candlelight on my table in the restaurant. A lone candle signified conscious awareness, the sun god Apollo, the sage. But like I said, it was the explorer that guided me to that moment of self-realization by picking up the breadcrumbs and going on an adventure I had not planned. I strayed from the path, but eventually pursued a line of inquiry that raised my curiosity, and all the way from London to Pisac and beyond. So sometimes the calling urges you to go and explore, but along the way you will feel your truth. So the information you discover along the path that is given to you is a guide, and that is the explorer archetype. So how do I know the explorer delivers the inner knowledge of the sage? Well, this is where esoteric symbolism comes in. In Greek mythology, the goddess Artemis, who I associate with the explorer, helps to deliver her twin brother Apollo. Now, Artemis is associated with the crescent moon, the moon in its early stages of growth. This is intuition surfacing as inclination, the start of a new adventure. Apollo is the sun god, the sun being a symbol of the self and conscious awareness. So intuition eventually transforms into intellect. The dark of the moon emerges into the light of the conscious mind, the illuminated mind, the enlightened mind. Do you see how symbolism works there? Now, if you've already watched my videos on the Sage Archetype series, you will know that Apollo is self-awareness. And this is why I associate Artemis with the Explorer, because she is independent, self-sufficient, free-spirited and transformative, all of which are shown to be attributes of individuals with a pronounced curiosity and interest in adventure. But anyway, my visit to Paziluz opened my mind to energy healing, which eventually became more concentrated on energy itself and basically how we transform energy. Now, at this point in my life, I was riddled with chronic anxiety. I had low self-esteem and very little confidence. But learning about esoteric symbolism led me to ask questions about the mind-body energy connection, which guided me to learn about depth psychology, philosophy, physics, bioenergy, epigenetics, and how the nervous system works. But what I really discovered was that esoteric symbolism is a blueprint to self-discovery, to personal evolution. It's a map for self-development. So my purpose in life is to teach you how to use esoteric symbolism as a self-development tool, which I do using archetypes identified in psychology combined with Greek mythology, because the images in myth help you to identify, understand and recall the qualities of the archetypes. And it's the archetypes that help you to understand and develop your true nature. Okay guys, I'm going to wrap it up there, but I trust my story has given you some insight of how you can identify the Explorer archetype and determine how this energy is influencing your life and decision making. Now remember, this archetype is an intuitive feeling or calling that helps to guide you in the right direction and discover your truth. In the next video on the Explorer, I'm going to explain how you can identify the healthy qualities of this archetype and integrate them into your personality. So best of luck with the Explorer, and I shall see you soon. Bye bye for now.